Howdy, y'all. Namaste, and welcome back to IDIS1250, Intro to Sustainability Studies, A Quest for Harmony. I'm Dr. Brad Bannon, and we're continuing now with week 3 already. And as you probably tell from my voice, I'm a bit under the weather, but one must push through. So let's dig into week 3 on systems thinking, one of our most important sections of the semester. So chapter 2, systems thinking for sustainability, seeing the web of life is what I'm calling it. Introduction. The systems view of life is an ecological view grounded in spiritual awareness and philosophical thought. Fritjof Capra. As we embark on this exploration of systems thinking for sustainability, let's begin with a moment of reflection. Close your eyes, if you will, and imagine a spider's web glistening with morning dew. I know I used this metaphor in the last chapter, but it's just so apt. Each delicate strand is connected to the others, forming an intricate pattern that is both beautiful and functional. Now, imagine gently touching one strand. What happens? Obviously, the vibration ripples through the entire web, demonstrating the interconnectedness of the system. This simple visualization encapsulates the essence of systems thinking, a powerful approach that allows us to see and understand the complex, interconnected nature of our world. Now, in the context of sustainability, systems thinking is not just a useful tool. It's an essential paradigm shift that can help us to address the multifaceted challenges that we face. In this chapter, we'll dive deeper into the principles of systems thinking, exploring how this approach can transform our understanding of sustainability issues and guide us towards a more effective solutions. We'll examine the key concepts of systems thinking, some of which I introduced in the previous chapter, including feedback loops, complex adaptive systems, and emergence theory. But we'll go a little bit deeper into each one of those. Along the way, we'll see how these ideas apply to real-world sustainability challenges and how they can inform our actions as we strive to create a more sustainable future. As Donella Meadows, a pioneer in systems thinking that we met last chapter, reminds us, remember always that everything you know and everything everyone knows is only a model. Get your model out there where it can be viewed. Invite others to challenge your assumptions and add their own. With the spirit of openness and curiosity, let's begin our journey into the world of systems thinking for sustainability. Section 2.1, defining systems, components, interconnections, and feedback loops. At its core, a system is a set of things. People, cells, molecules, or whatever, that are connected in such a way that they produce their own patterns of behavior over time. The key to understanding systems lies not just in the individual components, but in how these components interact and influence each other. Again, Donella Meadows offers a succinct definition. A system is an interconnected set of elements that is coherently organized in a way that achieves something. This definition highlights the 3 crucial aspects of systems. Components, sometimes called elements, which are the individual parts that make up the system. Then the interconnections, the relationships and interactions between those parts. And finally, what is the function or purpose of the system, what the system does or achieves as a whole. Now, understanding these 3 aspects is crucial for addressing sustainability challenges, as it allows us to see beyond isolated problems and recognize the broader patterns and relationships at play. Feedback loops are fundamental concepts in systems thinking. They are the mechanisms by which systems self-regulate, adapt, and evolve. There are 2 main types of feedback loops: balancing or negative feedback loops. These loops work to maintain stability in a system, counteracting change. Then there's reinforcing or positive feedback loops. These loops amplify change, potentially leading to exponential growth or decline. To illustrate these concepts, let's consider 2 examples from the realm of sustainability. Example 1, the Mount Wachusett snowball, a reinforcing feedback loop. Now imagine a snowball starting its descent down the slopes of Mount Wachusett. Initially, it's small, its momentum is relatively low, but as it rolls, it gathers more snow, increasing its size and mass. This increased mass, in turn, increases its momentum, causing it to pick up even more snow at an accelerating rate. This is a classic example of a reinforcing feedback loop, also known as a positive feedback loop. In fact, it's often called the snowballing effect. In a reinforcing loop, a change in one element of the system amplifies the change in other elements, leading to exponential growth or decline. Let's break down the reinforcing feedback loop in this scenario. Initial condition is the small snowball begins rolling downhill. Then there's the reinforcing loop. Increased snowball size leads to increased snowball mass. Increased snowball mass leads to increased snowball momentum. Increased snowball momentum leads to increased snow accumulation, which then leads to increased snowball size, returning us again to the beginning of the loop. This cycle continues with each iteration leading to a larger, faster-moving snowball. The snowball's growth is not linear, it accelerates exponentially. Eventually, the snowball may become too large to control, potentially causing damage as it continues its descent. The Massachusetts snowball illustrates several key characteristics of reinforcing feedback loops. Exponential growth, the small snowball size and speed increase at an accelerating rate. Unpredictability, while the initial conditions may be relatively simple, the outcome can be difficult to predict precisely. Potential for destructive outcomes. Uncontrolled reinforcing loops can lead to undesirable or even catastrophic consequences, especially if that snowball is heading towards you, as it is here, heading towards me, sort of. This example helps us to understand how seemingly small initial changes can have significant and potentially unforeseen consequences in complex systems. The seemingly innocuous act of starting a small snowball rolling down a hill can lead to large, potentially destructive snowball. Similarly, in environmental systems, seemingly small changes, such as increasing greenhouse gas emissions, can trigger reinforcement feedback loops that lead to significant and potentially irreversible consequences, such as accelerated climate change. Understanding these loops is crucial for anticipating potential problems and designing effective interventions to prevent or mitigate negative outcomes. Just as we might try to stop a runaway snowball, we need to identify and address reinforcing system feedback loops in environmental systems before they can become unmanageable. Example 2, and we'll look at this example again in the next unit, or the next chapter. Wolves and Yellowstone, a balancing feedback loop. The reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in 1995 provides a fascinating example of a balancing feedback loop in action. Before the wolves' return, elk populations had grown unchecked, leading to overgrazing of vegetation, particularly along riverbanks. The reintroduction of wolves set in motion a series of ecological changes. The wolves prey on elk, which causes the elk population to decrease. The decreased elk population causes reduced grazing pressure. Reduced grazing pressure causes an increase in vegetation growth, which then causes stabilized riverbanks and increased habitat for other species. This cascade of effects, known as a trophic cascade, demonstrates how a single change in a system can have far-reaching impacts. As George Monbiot describes in his TED Talk, which we'll watch this week, "For more wonder rewild the world." As Monbiot says, the wolves, small in number, transform not just the ecosystem of the Yellowstone National Park, this huge area of land, but also its physical geography. The wolves acted as a balancing force in the ecosystem, helping to restore a more stable and diverse ecological community. This example illustrates how understanding and working with natural feedback loops can be a powerful tool for ecosystem restoration and sustainable management. These examples highlight the importance of recognizing and understanding feedback loops in systems. By identifying these loops, we can better predict systems' behavior, anticipate unintended consequences, and design more effective interventions for sustainability. Section 2, complex adaptive systems. Now, as we dig more deeply into systems thinking, we encounter the concept of complex adaptive systems, or CAS. These are special types of systems that are particularly relevant to sustainability challenges. Fritjof Capra, the systems theorist and physicist that we met last chapter, provides a helpful description. Quote, "When we look at the state of the world today, what is most relevant is the fact that the major problems of our time, energy, the environment, climate change, food security, financial security, etc., cannot be understood in isolation. They are systemic problems, meaning that they are all interconnected and interdependent." This is from his book, The Systems View of Life, which contains a spider web there on the cover.
Fritjof Capra.
Complex adaptive systems are characterized by several key features. Complexity. They consist of many interconnected parts that interact in non-linear ways. Adaptivity. They can change and learn from experience. Emergence. So they exhibit behaviors that arise from the interactions of the parts but cannot be predicted from the parts alone. And self-organization. They can spontaneously create new structures and behaviors. To understand the difference between complex and simple systems, let's consider two examples. A pocket watch is a complicated system, but it is not a complex adaptive one. It has many intricate parts working together, but its behavior is predictable, and it doesn't adapt or evolve over time. You can understand how a watch works by studying its individual components. In contrast, the global economy is a complex adaptive system. It consists of countless interconnected actors, individuals, businesses, governments, etc., whose interactions lead to emergent phenomena like market trends, economic cycles, and financial crises. The behavior of the economy as a whole cannot be predicted simply by understanding its individual components. This leads us to adaptation. Adaptation is a crucial feature of complex adaptive systems. In the context of sustainability, this means that ecosystems, societies, and economies can respond to changes and pressures, sometimes in unexpected ways. For example, coral reefs can adapt to gradual increases in water temperature, but rapid changes can overwhelm their adaptive capacity, leading to coral bleaching events, as we'll see later in this course. Coevolution is another important concept in CAS. It refers to the way that different parts of a system evolve together, influencing each other's development. Some examples of coevolution are readily observable. Take, for instance, the symbiotic relationship between a clownfish and an anemone, where the clownfish gains protection from the anemone's stinging tentacles, and the anemone benefits from the clownfish's cleaning and defense against predators. However, other examples of coevolution are far from obvious, and scientists are discovering new examples every year. For example, as we will learn next week from Suzanne Simard's TED Talk, trees in a forest have co-evolved with fungi in the soil to the point that neither could survive without the other. The fungi provide essential nutrients to the trees, while the trees supply the fungi with carbon compounds produced through photosynthesis. This underground network of cooperation highlights the hidden complexities of coevolution, reminding us that even seemingly independent organisms, like a tree and the mushrooms under the ground, are often deeply interconnected. Redundancy and resiliency are closely related concepts in CAS. Redundancy refers to the presence of multiple components that can perform similar functions, providing a buffer against disturbances. This redundancy contributes to the system's resilience, its ability to maintain its core functions in the face of change or disruption. For instance, biodiversity in an ecosystem provides redundancy. If one species is lost, then others may be able to fill its ecological niche, helping to maintain the overall function of the ecosystem. This principle can be applied in human systems as well. For example, a city with diverse transportation options like walking and cycling and public transportation, cars, etc., is more resilient to disruptions in any one mode of transport. Flying is also a benefit. Resilience and redundancy are also important in team sports. For example, if the Fitchburg State football team's starting quarterback is injured, the team is less likely to lose if they have a talented backup quarterback who can step in and fill the role. In sports, this is often described as depth, such as the bullpen depth in baseball or depth on the bench in a sport like basketball or soccer. As with a sports team, an ecological system is better able to withstand stressors like a fire or a disease or an invasive species, etc., if there are multiple species fulfilling similar roles in the system. Understanding complex adaptive systems is crucial for addressing sustainability challenges because the systems that we're dealing with, ecosystems, climate systems, social systems, economic systems, etc., are complex adaptive systems. This understanding helps us to anticipate unintended consequences of our actions, recognize the limits of our ability to control these systems, hopefully, design interventions that will work with rather than against the system's natural tendencies, and appreciate the importance of diversity and redundancy in creating resilient systems. As we continue to explore sustainability through a systems thinking lens, keep in mind that we're often dealing with complex adaptive systems. This perspective can help us develop more nuanced, effective approaches to creating a sustainable future. Section 3, Emergence Theory. Emergence is a fundamental concept in systems thinking and is particularly relevant to our understanding of sustainability. It refers to the way that complex systems and patterns arise from a multiplicity of relatively simple interactions. In other words, emergence describes how the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts, as I mentioned in the previous chapter. Scott E. Page, a complexity scientist and author of The Diversity Bonus, provides a compelling perspective on emergence and its relationship to diversity. Diverse perspectives and tools enable collections of people to find more and better solutions and contribute to overall productivity, hence the diversity bonus. This insight is crucial for understanding both natural and human systems. Let's explore the fundamental importance of diversity within emergence theory and its applications to sustainability. Diversity improves intelligence. It improves the ability of an ecosystem to repair and protect itself, which has implications for how we conduct academic research and how we might build a more sustainable future through diversity. Cognitive diversity and resilience. Page's work demonstrates that diverse groups often outperform homogeneous groups of high-ability problem solvers. This is because diverse groups bring a variety of perspectives, heuristics, and interpretations to a problem. As Page states, the team is smarter than its smartest member. Simple but important quotation. This emergent collective intelligence is more than just the sum of its parts, more than just the sum of its individual intelligence. It arises from the interactions and synergies between diverse viewpoints and approaches. In the context of sustainability, this suggests that we need diverse teams and inclusive decision-making processes to tackle complex challenges effectively. Suppose, for example, that you are the project manager of a team at work. Assume that you and other people on your team have a wide range of skills. Perhaps you're great at mathematics, like Scott Page. Another team member is great at engineering, and another is a gamer who loves to solve puzzles and strategize. Suppose you are looking for a fourth member. As manager, you could do what a lot of managers do, which is bring in someone who looks like you and thinks like you and watches the same anime as you and who thinks that your dad jokes are hilarious. But if you recruit a member who is skillful at something that none of the other team members on your team are particularly great at, then your team will be better prepared to adapt and you will be more resilient, i.e., less likely to fail. You, as an individual member of the team, do not gain those skills, but since you benefit from the diversity of skills on your team, then you benefit from the skills that the new team member brings to the table. Hence, you gain what Dr. Page calls the diversity bonus. Biodiversity and ecosystem resilience. But the principle of emergence is also evident in ecosystems. Biodiversity contributes to the ecosystem resilience in ways that go beyond the contributions of individual species. Edward O. Wilson, the renowned biologist that we will learn from in the next unit next week, explains, quote, "It is reckless to suppose that biodiversity can be diminished indefinitely without threatening humanity itself." X. The emergent properties of diverse ecosystems include increased stability, productivity, and adaptability to change. These properties are crucial for maintaining ecosystem services that human societies depend on, such as clean air and water, pollination, and climate regulation. Wilson's point is that when we lose or destroy diversity, we also lose the emergence properties that arise from that complexity, which makes the ecosystem that we call home less adaptable to change, less resilient to extreme weather, etc., which makes us weaker and makes our species less likely to survive. Interdisciplinary thinking, the power of diverse perspectives. Emergence theory underscores the crucial role of interdisciplinary approaches in addressing sustainability challenges. Sustainability problems are inherently complex, encompassing environmental, social, economic, and ethical dimensions. No single discipline possesses all the tools or perspectives needed to fully understand or solve these multifaceted issues. Interdisciplinary thinking, therefore, is not merely beneficial, it's essential. The power of interdisciplinary thinking stems directly from the diversity that it fosters. bringing together researchers from different fields such as ecology, economics, sociology, engineering, political science, philosophy, and more, introduces a rich tapestry of diverse knowledge domains. Each discipline offers unique knowledge, unique methodologies, and theoretical frameworks. An ecologist might bring expertise in ecosystem dynamics, while an economist might contribute insights into market mechanics. Sociologists might offer understanding of social inequalities, and an engineer might provide solutions for technical innovation. Varied research methods. Different disciplines employ distinct research methods, from quantitative data analysis to qualitative interviews, from field experiments to model simulations. This methodological diversity enhances the robustness and validity of research findings. Differing perspectives. Disciplinary perspectives shape how we frame problems and how we interpret data. An anthropocentric perspective might prioritize human needs, while an ecocentric perspective might emphasize the intrinsic value of all living beings. This diversity of perspectives prevents groupthink and promotes more creative and comprehensive solutions. Complementary skills. Researchers from different disciplines often possess complementary skills. For example, a team working on sustainable agriculture might include scientists with expertise in soil science, economists specializing in agricultural markets, and social scientists focused on community engagement. The combination of these diverse skills, which you'll notice correlates to our 3 pillars of sustainability, allows for a more holistic and effective approach. In short, the diversity inherent in interdisciplinary thinking is not just additive, it's multiplicative. The synergistic interaction of diverse knowledge, methods, and perspectives generates a level of understanding and innovation that is far greater than the sum of its parts. This is the power of emergence in action, which is what this section, 2.3, is attempting to teach. It is precisely this emergent property that makes interdisciplinary thinking so crucial for tackling the complex and interconnected challenges of sustainability. By the way, it's also why this course, IDIS1250, is taught in the interdisciplinary department, which is what IDIS stands for. Implications for sustainability. Understanding emergence has several important implications for sustainability. Holistic approaches. We need to consider whole systems, not just their parts, when addressing sustainability challenges. Small changes can sometimes lead to large, sometimes unexpected effects in complex systems, as we'll see in the next chapter, in section 3.6, which expands on the example in 2.1, namely the wolves in Yellowstone Park. This underscores the need for careful monitoring and adaptive management in sustainability initiatives. Fostering innovation. Now, creating conditions that allow for emergence, such as promoting diversity, encouraging collaboration, etc., can lead to innovative solutions to sustainability challenges. And resilience through diversity. Promoting diversity in ecosystems and human communities and in our approaches to problem solving can enhance the resilience and adaptability of systems. Humility and adaptability. Emergence reminds us that we can't always predict or control outcomes in complex systems. This calls for humility in our approaches and a willingness to adapt our strategies as we learn. It is also yet another reason to emphasize interdisciplinary collaboration, since an expert in one field may be able to understand the implications of an intervention in a complex adaptive system that others may be unable to perceive. As we continue to grapple with complex sustainability challenges, keeping the principle of emergence in mind can help us to develop more effective, holistic, and adaptive approaches. It reminds us that in seeking sustainable solutions, we need to harness the power of diversity, foster interdisciplinary collaboration, and remain open to the unexpected ways in which complex systems can adapt and evolve. Conclusion. As we conclude our exploration of systems thinking for sustainability, let's reflect on the key insights that we've gained and their implications for creating a more sustainable world. Now, we began by defining systems and understanding their key components, elements, interconnections, and purpose. We saw how feedback loops, both balancing and reinforcing, play crucial roles in systems behavior, using examples like snowballing down Mount Wachusett and the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park, which we'll look at more in the next chapter. We then pried our way into complex adaptive systems, recognizing that many of the systems that we deal with in sustainability, from ecosystems to economies, exhibit properties like emergence, self-organization, and co-evolution. We understood the importance of redundancy and resilience in these systems and how diversity contributes to their adaptive capacity, like adding depth to the Red Sox bullpen, or maybe even the Fitchburg State bullpen. Finally, we explored emergence theory, seeing how collective intelligence and innovative solutions can arise from diverse groups and interdisciplinary approaches. We recognize that emergent properties in ecosystems, such as increased stability and productivity, are crucial for maintaining the ecosystem services that human societies depend on. These concepts from systems thinking offer powerful tools for addressing sustainability challenges. Holistic approaches, systems thinking encourages to look at the big picture, considering the interconnections and interdependencies between different aspects of sustainability. Anticipating unintended consequences. By understanding feedback loops and emergence, we can better anticipate potential unintended consequences of our actions and design more effective interventions. Valuing diversity. We can better anticipate potential unintended consequences of our actions and design more effective interventions. Valuing diversity. Systems thinking highlights the importance of diversity in ecosystems and human communities and in our approaches to problem solving for creating resilient and adaptive systems. Adaptive management. Recognizing the complexity and unpredictability of systems, we can adopt more flexible, adaptive approaches to sustainability management. And interdisciplinary collaboration. System thinking underscores the value of bringing together diverse perspectives and disciplines to address sustainability challenges. As Donna Meadows reminds us, we can't control systems or even figure them out, but we can dance with them. This dance with systems requires us to remain humble, curious, and adaptable. It invites us to see the world in all its complexity and interconnectedness, and to recognize our place within these larger systems. As we move forward in our exploration of sustainability, let's carry these insights with us. Let's strive to see the web of life in all its intricacy, to appreciate the power of diversity and emergence, and to approach our sustainability challenges with the holistic, adaptive mindset that systems thinking cultivates. In the chapters to come, we'll build on this foundation of systems thinking as we explore specific sustainability challenges and solutions. We'll see how this systems perspective can inform our understanding of issues like climate change, biodiversity loss, sustainable agriculture, and social equity. And we'll explore how it can guide us in creating more sustainable technologies, economies, and societies. Remember, as we navigate the complex terrain of sustainability, systems thinking is not just a tool, it's a way of seeing the world, as I emphasized in Chapter 1. It's a perspective that can help us to create more effective, holistic, and lasting solutions to the pressing challenges of our lives, of our time. As we continue our journey, let's keep our eyes open to the interconnections, feedback loops, and emergent properties all around us, always seeking to understand and work with the intricate systems that sustain life on our planet. Next, I'd like you to watch Bernie Krause's TED Talk from 2013 entitled The Voice of the Natural World. This talk's about 15 minutes long. I'd like you to pay close attention to how he describes the concept of biophony and how he uses soundscapes to understand the health of ecosystems. He's a musician and a soundscape ecologist who, in fact, did the soundtrack for Apocalypse Now. He spent over 40 years recording and archiving the sounds of habitats around the world, both wild and those impacted by human activity. His work reveals the intricate soundscapes of natural environments and demonstrates how these soundscapes can be indicators of ecological health. This is absolutely one of my favorite TED Talks, and I very much hope that you enjoy it as well. After that, I invite you to watch another TED Talk that's about 15 minutes long, What is a Complex System?, with Karoline Wiesner and James Ladyman. It will review some of the things that we've covered in this chapter, but also help you understand how important complex adaptive systems are and help to deepen your understanding of this important concept and sustainability studies. I hope that you're feeling better than I am, and I hope that you're enjoying the course so far. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Word. Peace out. I don't know why I saluted. I never salute. It's not like a thing that I do. Salute. Yeah.